Have it. Now we're back on the bill as amended, and you're probably recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. If you've paid attention to the news lately, there has been several news reports of these safe haven locations. I think they just opened one in Knoxville at one of the fire stations there on Western Avenue. There's been a couple of news articles in Indiana and Kentucky where children have been dropped off just a few days after these baby boxes or safe haven boxes have been installed. So there is a tremendous need for this. So what this bill does is simplifies the process for those children to be adopted. So a brief rundown of the safe haven law, if you're not familiar with it, provides the ability for a mother to drop off her child, and as long as that child is not harmed, she has the ability to return and retrieve that child, no questions asked, as long as the child is unharmed. Based on the numbers that we've gathered from DCS and so forth, 94% of the time, the mother never returns. So what this legislation does is tries to streamline the process to allow for the adoption process to be completed after the 90 days, which is required in statute to terminate both the mother and the father's rights if they're even known who they are. And then it further requires a court to hear these adoption and abandonment cases within a set period of time, so they're not being drug out for 6 or 8 months. So essentially, if you work the calendar, a child could be abandoned, and within about 100 days, depending on a couple of little variables, would be adoptable within 100 days. So we've streamlined the process because there's been instances, I've talked to some adoption attorneys, where it has taken 20 months to get this process done. So I don't know a greater purpose that we can serve as a legislative body than to streamline the process to move children into stable homes quicker than with this type of legislation right here. With that, I will answer any questions and renew my motion.
Very good. Thank you for the explanation. Members, any questions or comments for our sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. We're not. Representative Parkinson, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a quick question. So when these babies are abandoned, do they go into DCS custody immediately? What happens?
Representative Butler.
Yes. DCS is contacted. They're required to take them to a hospital to be checked out to make sure they don't have any issues. And then DCS assumes the custody and then takes it from there.
President Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you for this legislation. We definitely need to streamline the process if that's the case.
Members, any additional questions for our sponsor? Any additional questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. Looks like we are. Without objection, all those in favor of sending House Bill 164 as amended to calendar and rules, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Ayes have it.